So I will talk about some representation theory which is motivated by the results which were explained in the previous talk. So let me give some motivations for the results. So the main motivation comes from this ODE IM correspondence, which was mentioned in the last talk and in several talks. So let me briefly remind this result of Doré-Tateo and Bajanov, Lukyanov, Zamolodchikov. Okay, which so relates some spectral determinants of Schrödinger operators to eigenvalues of quantum KdV Hamiltonians. Okay, so this result was generalized in various directions. So there are some various generalizations. And so in this talk, I will be mainly interested in higher rank generalizations, so higher ranks. So in the sense that the Lie algebra SL2, which in some sense is attached to this correspondence, is generalized to some G, some simple Lie algebra. Okay, and so there is, in particular, as it was explained in the previous talk, this proposed affine opers, so due to Feigin-Frenkel. And which were made explicit, as it was just discussed, so made explicit and studied by Massoero, Raimondo, Valéry. And so, in fact, one crucial point in this study is this P system and Q tilde systems, which appeared on the screen a few minutes ago. So let's say crucial point is this Q tilde system, which is a very nice uniform system of relations. So uniform in the sense it's uniform for all the algebras, and which leads to Bethe-Ansatz equation. And which was proved to occur in this ODE side, in fact. So it's related to solutions of these differential equations. So what I would like to discuss today is the other sides of the duality. So what happens for the integrable model sides, and try to give some representation theoretical framework to explain the occurrence of these systems of relations. So I'd like to explain today some, let's say, IM side. So some representation theoretical framework. So these systems occur first in this context, but it appears to have very natural interpretations in terms of representation theory of quantum groups. Okay, so I will like to, so I will, in some sense, survey. The 45 minutes is not so long. So three papers, so which will be the 3 parts of my talk. So the first one will be to explain so the algebraic context, which will be related to some particular category of representation of quantum groups. So this is a joint work with Jimbo, which appeared in 2012. And so the second part of my talk will be to explain some transfer matrices associated to these representations and some Baxter polynomial, let's say, associated to it. So this is a first paper with Edward Frenkel, which appeared in 2015, and the last part will be devoted to this Q tilde system. Okay, and so this is a more recent paper which appeared last year. So this is what I try to explain. So let me first start with this quantum group side. So as I said before, so we consider G some simple finite dimensional Lie algebra. Over C, and we do not assume that it's simply laced, so it's not necessarily simply laced. Okay, so we will denote n is the rank of G. So we have this loop algebra. So which is the infinite dimensional Lie algebra obtained by extending the scalar to some Laurent polynomial ring in some formal variable T. And we pick up some quantization parameter, Q, so that we assume it's not a root of unity. So it's generic in this sense. And we have a corresponding, so UQLG, so which is a corresponding quantum loop algebra. And so which is a quantum group in the sense of Drinfeld and Jimbo. And which is obtained as a deformation of the universal enveloping algebra of the Lie algebra LG. So this algebra has a lot of very nice properties, and we will be also interested in its Borel subalgebra. So it is a Borel subalgebra. So if you are familiar with the theory, it's a subalgebra generated by positive Chevalley generators, by opposition to the Drinfeld generators. And so this algebra is a Hopf subalgebra. So which allows to define a tensor structure on the category of its representation. So we may consider tensor product of representation and dual of representations. Okay, so And it has also itself some triangular decomposition. Which comes from the Fourier modes depending on the power of t. Okay, and so the statement is that this algebra, and then I will explain the main motivation to define this category. But so it has, so UQB has, let's say, a natural category O of representations whose a simple object are parametrized by some family of rational fractions. So by n tuple of rational fractions, which are regular at 0. Okay, so I recall that n is the rank of the Lie algebra G, and so we consider a family of n rational fractions. So regular at 0 in the sense that there is no 0 or no pole at 0 at the origin. So we have this n tuple, and to each of these n tuples there is a corresponding simple object in this category. So in fact, the first, let's say, motivating example, so appeared much earlier in the work of Bajanov, Lukyanov, Zamolodchikov. It's in the case of SL2. And so for SL2, there is just one rational fraction, so we may pick up a polynomial of degree 1. And so the corresponding representation in this classification is what is called the Q oscillator representation. So which is a simple infinite dimensional representation of this Borel subalgebra. But the action cannot be extended to the full affine quantum groups. So it's really a representation theory of this Borel algebra. Okay, and so now we may mimic this choice. In fact, we can pick up a family of n rational fractions which are all equal to 1, except 1, which is a polynomial of degree 1. So if we pick up, so what we could obtain is, so it takes this choice and you put a polynomial degree 1 in position I. And so we have some representation which depends on this I, which will 1 on n, on some spectral parameter A. So this is a representation in this category, what we called prefundamental representation. So there is also a negative one corresponding to the inverse of this, but I don't want to discuss this point today. And in fact, so this representation, from the representation theoretical point of view, they play the role of fundamental representation in this category. So in fact, they play the role of fundamental representation, in the sense that if we look at this class and the class corresponding to the inverse power of this polynomial, they will generate the Grothendieck ring of the category. So in fact, their classes. So this is more algebraic point, but it makes sense from this representation theoretical point of view. So these classes generate K0 of O, which is the quantum ring. So this ring is just the ring which is, as a group, generated by classes of simple objects. With the product which is obtained by tensor product. So this is. So this ring has a lot of very nice properties, and I should say, so it's a commutative ring. It's commutative. And in fact, in this language, we can also translate a statement of BLZ, which is incarnation of Baxter-TQ relation in terms of these representations. So, in fact, if we pick up this representation and we make the tensor product with some two-dimensional fundamental module, so this is the tensor product in this thing. So then we get a sum of these two classes with a spectral parameter shifted by the power of Q. So here there is Q2 and Q minus 2. So this is a relation with the scrutinic rings. So algebraically, it means that this tensor product is not simple, but it's of length 2, with two simple constituents, which are these two. And this is a realization of Baxter-TQ relation in this ring for SL2. So this is for G equal to SL2. Okay, so this is very quick survey about this thing. So now I would like to discuss the corresponding transfer matrices. Okay, so it's well known that one of the crucial properties of these quantum groups is the existence of a universal R matrix. So this is a well-known property. So it is a formal power series in the tensor square of the algebra, and which is a solution of Yang-Baxter equation. So of course this is known from a long time. And this is maybe the main reason to study quantum groups and these representations. Okay. And so this allows to define, so for V finite dimensional representation of this algebra, we may define the corresponding transfer matrix obtained by taking the trace on the left factor. So we take the trace on V. Of the universal R matrix, so we get some formal power series in Z. Yeah.
You're always considering the loop algebra, not the full Casimir algebra?
No. In fact, on finite dimensional modules, as well as for representation this category O, the central charge acts trivially. And if you consider a derivation element, then there is no finite dimensional module. So we look at a subquotient, in fact, of the quantum of n.
These are not finite dimensional.
No, these are in the category O. Also in the category O, it should not be confused with highest weight integrable modules of the quantum affine algebra, where you have maybe a non-trivial central charge and the derivation acting on. So here we look at the loop algebra, which is a subquotient of the full quantum affine algebra, where we have these finite dimensional modules. And this representation of the Borel algebra have the same property. So in some sense, it is an extension of the category to some more general modules, but with the same properties, that central. So that's why I put the loop algebra here. And so there is this well-known, so let's remark. So this transfer matrix commute, so this is also well-known property. So the TV commute. So this is what the integrability, and this is a consequence of the Young-Baxter equations. And a second remark is that the left factor of the R matrix, in fact, is in the Borel algebra. So this TV of Z might be defined not only for this finite dimensional representation of UQLG, but also for representation in the category O. So TV of Z is defined for V in O. So maybe we have to take some graded trace, but in terms of action operators, as so R of Z is in UQB. Okay, and so in particular, we may pick up here these pre-fundamental modules I discussed. So we get this TLIA cos of Z, so which are well defined. Okay. So yes, we have to take some graded trace. So I did not discuss the details, but in fact, so this representation, this category O, the weight spaces are finite dimensional. So this is one of the axiom of this category O. So you may take the trace weight spaces by weight spaces, and then you have to add an additional parameter to take this into account.
So you have a parameter?
Yes, corresponding to the twisted trace. Okay, and so we had studied with Frenkel some properties of these transfer matrices, and so they play the role of the Q operator here. So this was known for type pi A, but this is general, so in general. So this plays the role of Q operators. So in which sense? So can briefly say that I mentioned this Baxter relation a few minutes ago for SL2, and there are analog relations for all types here. So there is a notion of they satisfy, let's say, generalized Baxter relations. So which allow to describe all T operators, so all transfer matrices associated to finite dimensional modules in terms of this transfer matrices. And second property is that if we look at the action on some finite dimensional modules of UQLG, so that is to say XXZ type model, then the action is polynomial up to some factor. So the action on a quantum space, so a finite dimensional UQLG module is polynomial. So up to a scalar. Up to a uniform scalar. So this also was known for at least SL2, SL3, but this is general. Okay, so now I would like to come back to this quantum KdV model. So for quantum in the sense of B and Z, so we may consider the same transfer matrix construction allows to define an action of all these transfer matrices, in particular associated to representation in the category O. So in algebraic terms, we may say that this ring acts also on the space corresponding to this quantum model. And so if we can find some relation between this representation, we may see some corresponding relation in terms of eigenvalues of these Hamiltonians. So it was discussed in the last talk that there are this nice system of relation in terms of differential equations. So if we believe this duality and this correspondent works, we should have some analog relation here. And so this is what we try to figure out, because in fact not so much is known about this category. It's very complicated to find things and to find some structure, because there are so many representations and it's difficult to say, okay, this one is more interesting than the other one, and so on. And in fact, the input from mathematical physics and from this correspondence is very useful to get a hint how to start to study this category. So this is the main message of this talk, is that this input from this correspondence is very useful from categorical and representation theoretical point of view here. So, and in particular, it's possible to understand these systems here. So maybe I will write this system again, because I think it's a very nice system. So this R-V relations. So as it was explained, it corresponds to, so we have two families of, so a way to write it, we have these two families of functions, so the Q and the Q tilde. So there is I between I and N. So I will write it for not only for AD, but also for non-simply laced, because we could also prove it for non-simply laced. So I look at the Cartan matrix of G. This is the Cartan matrix. Of G. Okay, and yes, and so we have, as we work not necessarily with simply laced, we have to define Qi, which is Q to the Ri, where Ri is the length of the root, simple root corresponding to I. So for ADE, it's always Q, but for B and C, we may have Q2, or G2, we may have Q3. Okay, this is the length of the root. And so the relation is of this form. So we have Q. So we have a shift of spectral parameter, Qi ZQi minus 1. So here we have the Qi tilde Qi, and then we have the difference where the two spectral parameters are, the shift are exchanged between the two, like in the quantum Wronskian relation. And so this is equal to a product. So we have first the G so that CAG is minus 1. So here we have the QG of Z. So this is the relation which appeared in the last talk because it's only ADE. But we may have other terms when it's non-ADE. So we have the G so that CIG is equal to minus 2. So we have QG ZQ minus 1 Q Z Q. And then for G2 we may have a last term. So this is the general formula that they obtain, which are satisfied by analog of spectral determinants for these affine hoppers that were discussed in the last talks. So for SL2, and I think also for type A, so this relation was known to Bajanov, Lukyanov, Zamolodchikov. And so here this is a quantum Wronskian. Relation. Said also for GL1 finds this relation was also known to Feigin, Jimbo, Mukin, and Miwa. And in this case, it's related to representation of quantum toroidal algebra of type GL1. And so the statement for quantum affine group is that so it can be incarnated in this category. So there is natural. Well, I think it's natural a posteriori maybe, but there is a family of modules. Family of simple representations, so the point of simple representation, so that we can denote by L tilde IA. So in the category O, so that, so if we replace the Qi by this, so Qi of A is the classes of this prefundamental module, so corresponding to Q operators, and then the Q tilde, the Q correspond to these classes, to these new classes, but which can be, so their parameter can be explicitly described, this n-tuple of rational fraction I mentioned. Then, so they satisfy the system, so satisfy this Q tilde system in, so the Grothendieck ring of this category. So it was a theorem which was mentioned at the end of the last talk. Yeah, so a few comments. So as it was explained, this system implies the Bethe-Ansatz equation. So also imply redundant equations with in fact some generic condition, genericity. In fact, it was also proved by Jimbo, by Feigin, Jimbo, Niwa, and Mukin that this condition can be dropped by using another system of relation. This is another story, so this can be dropped. I mean the genericity condition. And so as I said, this gives a very good hint from the purely algebraic point of view, hint how to understand the structure of this category. So good hint, in fact, how to study this category. So I have no time to discuss this, but this ring has very nice combinatorial property, in fact, related to cluster algebra theory. And so all inputs, in fact, nice close system of relation like this give at least one hope to have a better understanding of this ring. So this is one thing that we have here. And also it's another evidence that so this ODE-IM correspondence should work well in this context because we have the same remarkable relation on both sides. But the direct relation between the two is not understood yet. Okay, so I will stop.